Most people are not living their own life. They are reacting to it. They react to what others say. They react to what they feel. They react to the environment. And then they call that being myself. But there is a truth that changes everything. If someone can predict your reaction, they can control you. And if they can control you, you are not in command. This video is not about habits. It's about power. And if you stay until the end, you'll start to see something uncomfortable. Most people don't make decisions. They just respond. When Stephen Covey talks about being proactive, he's not talking about doing more. He's talking about something far more dangerous: internal freedom. The ability to not react automatically, not be controlled by emotion, not depend on the environment. Being proactive means this: you choose your response, always. And that separates two types of people: those who live in reaction and those who live in decision. The problem no one sees: automatic reaction. Let's break this down with brutal honesty. Most people operate like this. Something happens, leads to immediate reaction. No thinking, no choosing, no control. Examples: someone criticizes, leads to instant defense. Something goes wrong, leads to frustration. Asterisk, discomfort appears, leads to avoidance. This feels normal, but in reality, it's an automatic system. And automatic systems are predictable, and what is predictable can be controlled. Here is the real problem. If your behavior is automatic, you are not in command. The space that changes everything. There is an invisible moment between what happens and your reaction. Most people ignore that space. But that's where power exists, because inside that space there is awareness, choice, control. Reactive person doesn't see the space, reacts. Proactive person sees the space, right arrow chooses, and that small difference completely changes outcomes. Imagine someone provokes you. If you react automatically, you lose control. If you pause and choose, you gain advantage. Because now, you are not predictable. You are not easily manipulated. You are not emotionally dominated. Emotional control, the invisible signal of power. There is something humans recognize instinctively. Those who control their emotions dominate the environment. It doesn't need to be said. It is felt. A person who does not react under pressure, stays calm in conflict, responds with precision, is seen as stronger. Now look at the opposite. Someone who explodes easily, reacts impulsively, loses emotional control is seen as weak, and more importantly, easy to manipulate, because all it takes is pressure. Language, how you program yourself daily. Now we go deeper. The way you speak doesn't just describe reality, it shapes your mind. Example: I can't do this. It sounds like a simple sentence, but in reality, you are closing possibilities, avoiding effort, programming failure. Now compare. This is difficult, but I'll find a way. Same situation, completely different mindset. One limits, the other opens. And here's the key point. If you repeat weak language, you build a weak identity, and identity drives behavior. For one day, eliminate I can't. Eliminate it's impossible. Replace with I choose. It will feel unnatural. That's because you are reprogramming. Responsibility, what most people avoid. Responsibility is not blame. It is control. Responsibility means the ability to respond. In other words, you choose your response. Something goes wrong. Average person blames the environment, blames people, blames circumstances. Result: nothing changes. Proactive person, what can I do with this? Result, action. And action creates change. Here is the truth. Blame removes pressure, but also removes power. Focus, where your energy goes. Everything depends on where your attention is. External focus. Problems, people, circumstances. Result, frustration, because you don't control it. Internal focus. Actions, decisions, response. Result, control, because that depends on you. Proactivity as a real advantage. Now connect this to the real game. If you are reactive, anyone can provoke you. Any situation affects you. Any pressure controls you. If you are proactive, you stay stable. You choose responses. You control your state. Now think strategically. Who is harder to manipulate? Always the one who does not react automatically. Real examples. Situation, provocation. Person A reacts, loses control. Person B observes, leads to responds when they decide who dominates. Always person B. Situation, pressure. Person A panics. Person B slows down and thinks who performs better. Always person B. How to train proactivity. Step by step. This does not change with motivation. It changes with training. Step 1. Recognize, notice when you are reacting. Step 2. Pause, force. A pause. Step 3. Analyze what is happening. Step 4. Choose what is the best response. Step 5. Act with control, not impulse. Repetition creates change. Being unbreakable. The goal is not to be calm. The goal is to be independent from the environment. Someone provokes, you are unaffected. Something fails, you adjust. Pressure rises, you stay in control. This creates something rare, consistency, and consistency is power. In the end, it comes down to this. Reactive person lives based on what happens. Proactive person lives based on what they decide. One is controlled, the other controls. If you made it this far, you've already seen something most people never will. But understanding is not enough. Application is what changes the game. Subscribe, not because this is content, but because this is mental training. And those who train the mind control the environment. Comment, proactive. Because in the end, those who react are played. Those who choose, play.